Have you ever trusted that all vegetables are good for your health? After 65, your body isn't the same as it was in your 30s or 40s. What was once a superfood can quietly turn against you, slowing you down, hurting your joints, and straining your kidneys and heart. Many older adults assume that eating more greens and veggies is always the safest path, but the truth is, it's not about quantity. It's about choosing the right ones for your aging body. This video isn't about trendy diets or shocking you for views. It's about helping you avoid real regret, the kind that creeps in when you've been eating something you believed was healthy, only to later discover it might have shortened your life. We've heard too many stories from people in their 70s and 80s who said, if only I'd known earlier, that's why we're here. To share 7 vegetables that, while common in many homes, may be doing more harm than good for seniors like you. Some of them might be sitting in your fridge right now. Some might be things your children or grandchildren tell you to eat more of. But before you chop up another salad or steam another side dish, watch this video to the end. It could be one of the smartest decisions you make this year. And if you're over 65, trying to stay independent, strong, and healthy as long as possible, then you're in the right place. This isn't about fear. It's about empowerment. It's about knowing your body better and giving it what it truly needs now. So let's go through these 7 vegetables, one by one, and talk about what you might want to stop eating immediately before it's too late. Number 1. Raw cruciferous vegetables. One of the biggest surprises for many older adults is learning that raw cruciferous vegetables like raw broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts might be working against their health instead of for it. These vegetables are often praised as cancer-fighting and fiber-rich. And while that can be true for younger bodies with strong digestion, things change after 65. Here's the issue: raw cruciferous vegetables contain compounds called goitrogens. In small amounts for most people, they're fine. But in larger amounts, or if your thyroid function is already slowing down with age, goitrogens can interfere with how your body uses iodine. That's important because iodine is critical for thyroid hormones, which help regulate everything from your energy to your metabolism. When your thyroid is off, it can make you feel sluggish, foggy, bloated, and colder than usual, even if you're eating healthy. Add to that the fact that many seniors also take medications for high blood pressure or cholesterol, and you've got a mix that can increase sensitivity to these effects. Your body is already working hard to manage other changes: hormones, circulation, digestion, so every little disruption can have a bigger impact than it used to. Let's not forget digestion. Raw cruciferous veggies are hard to break down. They contain a lot of insoluble fiber, and that means more gas, more bloating, and slower digestion. For younger folks, that can be a minor annoyance. For older adults, it can mean days of discomfort, poor absorption of nutrients, and gut inflammation that keeps coming back. I knew a woman named Patricia, 74 years old. She was trying so hard to eat clean raw broccoli with lunch, cabbage slaw at dinner, but she kept feeling tired and puffy, and no matter how healthy she ate, the scale didn't move and her knees kept aching. Her doctor finally suggested she lay off raw cruciferous veggies for a few weeks. She started lightly steaming them instead. Within a month, her digestion improved, her energy came back, and she said, "I finally feel like food is working with my body, not against it." Now, we're not saying broccoli is bad. It's about the form. Lightly steaming or sautéing cruciferous vegetables helps break down the goitrogens and makes them easier to digest. The nutrients stay intact, but the stress on your thyroid and gut goes way down. So if raw broccoli or raw cauliflower has been a part of your health plan, consider giving it a rest. Your body might just thank you with better digestion, clearer thinking, and a lot less discomfort. Number 2, nightshade vegetables. As you move through your 60s, 70s, and 80s, you might notice certain aches and pains showing up more often, even when you haven't changed your routine. If your knees or fingers are constantly stiff, your back feels inflamed, or your joints ache more after meals, you might want to take a closer look at what's on your plate, especially if you're eating a lot of tomatoes, eggplants, bell peppers, or white potatoes. These belong to a group of plants called nightshades, and while they're common in many American meals, they might quietly be making life harder for you. The main issue with nightshades is a compound called solanine. In high amounts, solanine can irritate the gut lining and trigger inflammation. For seniors, this is especially important because our bodies naturally become more sensitive with age. The inflammation that you could shake off in your 30s might now linger for days and even spread to your joints or muscles. Let's say you're someone who enjoys a fresh tomato salad, roasted eggplant, and mashed potatoes. That sounds harmless, even healthy, doesn't it? But if your body doesn't tolerate solanine well, especially as your immune system becomes less efficient, those foods might be slowly fueling low-grade inflammation that leads to joint stiffness, nerve sensitivity, or even digestive distress. And here's the frustrating part: because these symptoms build gradually and vary from person to person, they're often mistaken for just getting old. People try more stretching, creams, or even pain pills, not realizing the food they're eating might be a major cause of the problem. Let me tell you about Alan, a retired teacher in his early 80s. He started noticing a dull, burning pain in his hands every morning, especially after eating his favorite homemade chili, loaded with tomatoes and bell peppers. His doctor ran tests, didn't find anything conclusive, and said it was likely arthritis. But Alan's daughter, who worked as a nutritionist, suggested he cut nightshades out for a few weeks. Just 3 weeks later, his pain had reduced so much that he stopped taking daily ibuprofen. He was shocked that something as common as a tomato could cause so much discomfort when his body got older. This doesn't mean all nightshades are poison or need to be banned from your life. But if you're over 65 and noticing joint pain, digestive issues, or skin flare-ups, it's worth doing a trial. Take a break from nightshades for 3 to 4 weeks and see how your body responds. Many people are surprised at how quickly their inflammation settles and their range of motion improves. And if you do bring them back in, do it slowly and pay close attention. Some people do better with cooked nightshades instead of raw. Roasting, boiling, or fermenting can reduce the solanine content, making them easier on the body. Nutrition in your senior years isn't just about adding the right foods. It's also about removing what no longer serves you. You've already made it this far, and your body deserves to feel as good as it possibly can. Sometimes that starts by letting go of things we never realized were causing harm. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, canned spinach and nitrate-rich greens. As healthy as spinach sounds, and as many of us grew up believing it was the food that made Popeye strong, there's a growing concern for seniors when it comes to canned or over-processed spinach. The reason? Nitrates. These naturally occurring compounds can become problematic when combined with age-related changes in digestion, kidney function, and medication use. Spinach, along with arugula and beet greens, contains high levels of nitrates. While these can be beneficial in moderation, especially when they help blood vessels relax, the real problem emerges when your body can't process them efficiently. And for seniors, particularly those on blood pressure medications, antacids, or with reduced kidney function, that's a real concern. What happens is this nitrates can convert into nitrites and, in some cases, into compounds called nitrosamines. These are associated with increased cancer risk, particularly when consumed in excess or combined with certain preservatives and high-heat cooking methods. That's why canned spinach, often overcooked and combined with preservatives, is far worse than a fresh bowl of raw baby spinach. Let's take the story of Carolyn, a 75-year-old who was managing both blood pressure and early kidney issues. She believed spinach was helping her heart until she started feeling dizzy, lightheaded, and fatigued almost daily. Her doctor initially thought it was just her meds, but a nutritionist reviewing her diet noticed Carolyn ate canned spinach with lunch almost every day, believing it was keeping her strong. Once she switched to lighter greens and dropped the canned variety, her symptoms improved noticeably within 2 weeks. There's another angle: 2 oxalates. Spinach is one of the most oxalate-rich vegetables out there. Oxalates can contribute to kidney stone formation, which becomes a bigger risk as we age, especially for those who don't drink as much water or who've had stones before. Many seniors also take calcium supplements, and when oxalates meet calcium in the kidneys, they can crystallize, leading to pain, stones, or even infection. So what should you do if spinach has been a longtime favorite? First, if you're still eating the canned version, try phasing it out. Opt for fresh or lightly steamed spinach instead, and limit how often you eat it. And make sure you stay well hydrated, particularly if you're also eating other oxalate-rich foods like beets or nuts. Another option: rotate your greens. Swiss chard, romaine, bok choy, and even baby kale offer great nutrients without the same oxalate or nitrate overload. Just remember, variety protects you. The more you rely on a single vegetable, the more likely it is to cause problems over time, especially if your digestion or kidneys are slowing down. Food that worked well in your 30s doesn't always work the same way in your 70s. That's not weakness, it's wisdom to adapt. Knowing which vegetables may be quietly doing harm allows you to make gentle shifts that protect your health and energy. Let's keep going. This next one is one of the most overlooked dangers in the average senior's diet. Number 4, pickled vegetables. Many seniors grew up with jars of pickled vegetables lining the pantry, cucumbers, carrots, even green beans soaking in brine. They were a staple during tough times, a comfort food, a piece of tradition. But for your heart, kidneys, and blood vessels after 65, they might be doing more harm than good. Pickled vegetables, especially the store-bought kind, are typically loaded with sodium. One small serving can have hundreds of milligrams of salt, and let's be honest, most folks don't stop at just a few bites. High sodium intake is a known trigger for high blood pressure, and that pressure isn't just a number, it's a daily force pounding against the walls of your arteries, your brain's delicate vessels, your kidneys' filtration system, and even your eyes. You might not feel it right away, but over time your body does. Seniors with pre-hypertension or full-blown hypertension can see real damage from eating salty foods day after day. And when combined with other sodium sources like processed soups, cheese, or sauces, the effects add up fast. Take Gerald, 80, who had been eating pickled okra with lunch almost every day for decades. It reminded him of his grandmother's kitchen. But after a small stroke scared him into a full health check, his doctor found his sodium intake was off the charts. What shocked Gerald most was that it wasn't chips or fast food causing the issue. It was the innocent-looking pickled vegetables he believed were healthy. Once he cut them out and switched to low-sodium versions or fresh alternatives, his blood pressure came down and his energy went up. There's also a hidden emotional cost here. Many seniors feel like they're losing another part of their life every time they give up an old favorite. But it's not about losing, it's about replacing. You can still enjoy crunchy, tangy snacks without the sodium overload. Try lightly pickled cucumbers made with vinegar and herbs, or fermented options like kimchi or sauerkraut in small amounts. Just check those labels carefully. Or switch to fresh veggies with a splash of lemon and sea salt substitute for that zing. And remember, this sodium doesn't just harm your blood pressure. It also draws calcium out of your bones, which increases the risk of osteoporosis, a quiet danger that already creeps up as we age. The less dense your bones, the higher your chances of a life-changing fall. You're not giving up pickled veggies. You're giving yourself stronger bones, better balance, and more time doing what you love. So as tempting as that crunchy jar might be, think twice. Your heart and bones are counting on you. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, canned tomatoes and tomato-based products. At first glance, tomatoes seem like one of the healthiest foods out there, and in many ways they are. Rich in lycopene, loaded with antioxidants and packed with flavor, fresh tomatoes can be a senior's best friend. But here's the hidden danger. The problem isn't the tomato itself, it's how it's packaged. Canned tomatoes, tomato sauces, and even tomato juices often come with a heavy dose of added salt, preservatives, and sometimes even sugar. But worse than that, most cans are still lined with BPA, bisphenol A, a chemical that leaches into acidic foods like tomatoes. This chemical has been linked in several studies to hormone disruption, inflammation, and even higher risks of heart disease and certain cancers. For a senior's body, already more vulnerable to inflammation and slow-healing damage, this risk isn't small. Take Harriet, 76, who thought she was doing well by making spaghetti sauce at home instead of buying jarred versions. What she didn't realize was that the canned crushed tomatoes she was using every week were exposing her to a steady drip of BPA. After months of dealing with digestive issues, fatigue, and odd joint pain, a nutritionist helped her review her food choices, and that's when the dots connected. She switched to glass-bottled tomato products or peeled and cooked her own from fresh tomatoes. Within weeks, the bloating reduced and her energy noticeably improved. Now let's talk sodium. One serving of store-bought tomato soup can have more sodium than a bag of chips. And it's not just in soups, pasta sauces, pizza sauces, and ketchup all carry hidden loads. Seniors with kidney concerns, blood pressure sensitivity, or heart issues need to be extra cautious. There's also the acid factor. As we age, many people struggle with acid reflux or GERD. Canned tomatoes, especially when concentrated into sauces or pastes, can aggravate the stomach lining and lead to chronic discomfort. That burning sensation at night, the cough, the sour taste in the back of the throat, it might be coming from something as innocent as your tomato stew. So what's the alternative? Go for fresh or frozen tomatoes when possible. If you love sauces, consider cooking down ripe tomatoes yourself. If you absolutely need canned, look for BPA-free labels and low-sodium options. You'll be surprised how good homemade sauce can taste with garlic, herbs, and a touch of olive oil. In the end, it's not about fear, it's about awareness. You're not avoiding tomatoes. You're choosing how they come into your life. Cleaner, safer, and without invisible risks. Let's keep going. The next vegetable might surprise you even more. Number 6, celery in excess or poor quality. Celery has a reputation as a harmless, low-calorie vegetable, often praised for being diet-friendly. You see it in every senior diet tip: crunchy, hydrating, even heart-healthy. But here's the part most people miss: celery, depending on how it's grown and how much you eat, might quietly be doing more harm than good. First one, the pesticide issue. Celery consistently ranks among the top vegetables with the highest pesticide residues, according to watchdog groups like the Environmental Working Group. Because it has such a porous, thin skin, celery absorbs just about everything it's sprayed with. And unlike fruits with skins you can peel off, you eat the entire stalk, pesticide and all. For seniors with weaker immune systems, struggling liver function, or chronic inflammation, repeated low-level pesticide exposure can add stress to the body that's harder to recover from. Shirley, 69, used to make celery juice every morning because she'd heard it was great for blood pressure. But after about 3 months, she noticed more headaches, jitteriness, and an odd rash that came and went. Her doctor couldn't find anything wrong. When she switched to organic celery, the symptoms slowly faded. Turns out it wasn't the vegetable, it was what came with it. Another issue is the sodium content. While celery doesn't taste salty, it contains naturally occurring sodium that can build up in the body, especially for those already on salt-restricted diets. It's not that celery is dangerous in moderation, but if you're already eating processed foods, soups or cheeses, that healthy celery snack might tip your sodium balance just a bit too far. Then there's the oxalate concern. Celery, like spinach and beets, contains oxalates, natural compounds that can contribute to kidney stones in people who are sensitive. If you've ever had a stone, you know you'd rather walk barefoot on hot gravel than go through that pain again. And while we're at it, let's talk about one more thing: celery and digestion. For some seniors, especially those with slower or more sensitive digestive tracts, celery's stringy fibers can cause bloating, gas, or irritation. The body has to work harder to break down those tough strings, which might not sound like much, but for a tired or inflamed gut, it can be a real nuisance. So what should you do? You don't have to throw celery out of your life. Just wash it carefully, choose organic when possible, and avoid going overboard. Balance it with other hydrating vegetables like cucumbers or zucchini, which tend to be gentler on the body. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts. If you've made it to the end of this video, let me ask you something simple. Did any of these surprise you? Most people assume that all vegetables are automatically good for you, especially in older age. But as we've seen today, it's not always about the food itself. It's about the context, how it's grown, how your body responds to it, and how much of it you're actually eating. The older we get, the more our bodies rely on balance and gentleness. And sometimes things that once worked for us at 40 or 50 might not serve us the same way in our 70s. That doesn't mean we have to live in fear of our food. Quite the opposite, actually. This is about awareness. This is about taking back control over what we put in our bodies, not just following trends or old habits. Food is still nourishment. It's still comfort. But now it should also be wisdom. Let this video be a reminder that small choices, like switching to organic, rotating your greens, or simply listening to your gut, can add years to your life, or at least add life to your years. There's no single rule book for aging well, but paying attention to your plate is one of the most powerful pages in that book. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.